it up in here. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Summer League.
Let's go.
Presented by Shady Rays.
Let's go. Turn it down.
Yeah, actually, turn it way down.
Jesus,
turn
it
the
off.
lights off. Close the windows, guys. We're coming to you
Carry me
hungover.
home.
Coming to you from Victory Burger. Delicious Victory Burger.
It's so good.
It's so freaking good.
Dev's already had 2 Victory Burgers in 2 days.
Dev, which victory burger did you choose today?
The undefeated.
No, which one did you have today? The victory burger.
I had the hangover.
Oh.
Yeah, the hangover.
Dev specifically chose a product called the Hangover Burger. Why
Smart
did
of
you?
him.
Why did you choose that, Dev?
Honestly, it was because they have eggs on their burger, and
he loves an
I'm
egg.
a breakfast guy.
He likes
Everybody
an egg.
knows that.
Everybody
I'm a
knows
breakfast
that.
guy, so that's the only reason that I chose the hangover burger. Anybody else? Anybody else have
I had the fondue burger. I'm so fancy like that.
Yeah, you have
roasted
that was,
artichokes.
that was a bold order from you.
Oh, it was so
yesterday.
good. Though,
Oh,
I'm
you
telling
wanted to get a soft French cheese burger
exactly.
to honor Victor Wembanyama's debut.
Very, very soft. Very, very soft. We're going to get to him, guys. We're here, obviously, at Circa Sportsbook and Casino. You can see the sportsbook behind us. The best sportsbook in all of Las Vegas,
Dude, it's
honestly,
amazing.
man. This is like state-of-the-art, enormous.
Yeah.
You kind of feel like you're at an IMAX theater.
Yeah.
And then guess what? They also have a second one outside by the pool.
Yeah.
The pool is also a sportsbook.
Where we're doing the show from tomorrow.
I'm telling you guys, like we've been coming to Summer League together now for a couple years. I always say, you guys,
Always
Fremont
a nightmare.
Street, Fremont Street. That's where it's at. That's where it all is. Here we are at Fremont Street, and I'm telling you, Circa is the pearl of Fremont Street.
It's the heart of
It
Vegas.
is, man.
Also, I thought that there was only like 7 screens or something like that. You get closer, there's like 20.
Yeah.
There's very large screens here. It's a beautiful setup,
No, what
honestly.
Circa is like doing to Fremont Street. It's just trying to. I would say it's elevating. Fremont
Yeah.
Street. You come to the Circa, like you have thoughts on what downtown Vegas is, and then you think about guys like Adam walking around looking for deep fried Twinkies.
Oh, I love the deep fried Oreos.
That is what traditionally downtown Las Vegas has meant. Circa.
Right.
Changing the game.
You know what it is? Honestly, Fremont Street is the Colfax Avenue of Las Vegas.
Yes, it is.
And Circa is the DNVR bar. I'm not even kidding. Well, it's the DNVR bar. Guys, we have a great show for you today, though, because the Nuggets finally played a Summer League game, and there was a surprise. Hunter Tyson.
Dude.
Oh, man.
Hunter Tyson. My God, who?
Bro.
Hunter Jordan, some people are calling him.
A taller Michael Jordan, I heard a comp. Honest to God, to me, he is the top story, and it's almost a surprise that we came in with some other guys as like the top of the list or this. But to me, it's unquestionable that he is the top story from Game 1 of Summer League.
Question this.
There is no question. And it's funny because Hunter Tyson was clearly the third rookie that we were talking about. It was Julian Strawther, the first-round pick, Jalen Pickett, who, I mean, you do host the show, so you steer a lot of the conversation.
We'll talk about him.
And Jalen Pickett's gotten a lot of hype from us, I think deservingly so. We've spent the least amount of time on Hunter Tyson, naturally. And what does he do in Game 1? Comes off the bench to score 21 points on 7 of 13 shooting. Hits 3 triples.
Dude.
And it's one thing when you just put up the numbers, but, like, he popped.
Yeah.
He looked like a guy.
Yeah.
And that was, like, the big takeaway. He looked like a player in Game 1 of Summer League. That's, of course, the huge qualifier. But, I mean, he exceeded, I think, every expectation that we had for him.
My God, he didn't just look like he was in control offensively. He erased Drew Timme at the rim. He blocked a shot at the rim and absolutely decimated Drew Timme. He was.
And then what did he do? Do you remember?
No.
The double flex.
Double flex.
Threw himself into the.
And I got to tell you,
stanchion.
like, he played such a masterful first half, and that the Nuggets rest of the rookies stopped passing him the ball in the second half because he was shining too hard. And like they
You
wanted,
think?
Yes, I do.
No,
they didn't,
really?
No, they did not pass
I
the
love
ball
this.
to him in the second
Hey,
half. I'm telling you.
conspiracy corner? Can we?
I'm
we have
telling you,
conspiracy
man.
corner?
I'm saying, like
They froze him out.
His stats would have looked so much better, but he had no action in the second half.
You don't think it was at all because the defense was like, oh, shit, we should probably
There
guard
were
this guy?
honestly,
No,
there was that,
no.
but there were wide open shots that were not. They're not being delivered.
Actually, even this one, not even just the defense. It was. They went zone, Milwaukee.
They did go zone.
I feel like you'd be fined. If you go zone during Summer League, you should be fined.
It should be illegal to play zone. You know how it's illegal to play zone in like 5th grade?
Yeah, exactly.
It should be illegal to play zone in Summer League.
Well,
it's like cheating.
Hunter Tyson, like, he surprised a lot of people.
Yeah.
First off, the name is wild to me. I can't wait till he comes up with a nickname.
Dude, no, I asked him.
First
It
off,
throws me off.
So this has been we've been trying to coax a nickname out of him.
First of all, he says it even more country. I think you have to say it country. He says it like Hunter.
Hunter.
Yeah, I was like, what do you want to be called? I don't know, dude, Hunter.
I'm telling you, I'm going to call him the reverse because his name is backwards. His name should be Tyson Hunter.
Yeah. It is wrong. It's wrong.
It's not Hunter Tyson.
It's wrong.
Those are two first
definitely
names.
wrong. But the way that he plays, so right. I couldn't believe how confident he was out on the court, on offense and defense. Going into it. When he got drafted, it was like a shocker because it was like, where did this come from? But then when you see him out there, he's a true wing. He knocks down every single shot that comes his way, and he's swaggy the entire time. Like, he's flexing after
Swaggy
threes.
H.
He's blocking shots at the rim and flexing. He's trash talking, and nobody can do anything about it because he's backing it up the entire time. That was quite the debut for him.
So that was the biggest thought I had about his game. We heard about the motor, the competitiveness, and the more you talk to people with the Nuggets, they're like, oh yeah, like when he had his pre-draft workout in Denver, we were like, holy shit, this guy plays really hard and is super competitive. We might want to draft him.
Right.
And then you saw that in game 1. He has beaten the Tyler Lydon comparisons and accusations
the allegations.
in one game.
Yeah.
Yes, some would say he has a better career already.
Because Tyler Lydon played like scared at Summer League.
Yes.
Yeah.
He didn't want to shoot.
That's Summer League.
Which was a very bad sign. Like that was a huge red flag.
We saw that from other high-profile
we'll get to that.
draft
Yes.
picks.
We'll get to that.
But Hunter Tyson has already beaten the Tyler Lydon accusations
Unbelievable.
because he plays with fire. Like, he plays with this competitiveness that is just fun to watch and gets the people going.
You feel like every movie, like especially in the 90s, every movie there was like sports movie, there was a team, and then the country kid shows up, and they're like, "Get out of here, country kid! Like, we don't want you on our team." And then he proves himself to actually be, no, he's actually tough, and this and that. That was totally like, we kept hearing from everybody. He has that motor. He plays hard. He plays intense, and you think like. Whenever people say that, you're almost like, this guy sucks. Like, right? Like,
right.
And then you watch the game and you're like, oh, no, this guy plays like a lunatic.
Yeah.
He actually has lunatic energy out there, and that really is a trait. It's not just a thing you say to a guy that doesn't have skill set. You're like, no, he has an intensity to the way he plays that is impactful.
Yeah. No, I literally could not be more impressed. I don't think that I've ever been more impressed with a Summer League debut for a Denver Nugget.
Really?
I'm trying to think,
we've had some pretty good ones in recent years.
Who have had the best ones?
Bones Highland had a great one.
Oh, Bones Highland did have a good one. I think you declared him Damian Lillard.
Literally
Victor Wembanyama in his debut.
Oh, I did that with Scoot Henderson.
Yeah.
Also.
Okay.
But I think it was also the timing when it came with Bobo and Bones. Like, everything was around him.
Yeah.
This was a guy that came out of left field.
Yeah.
Like, nobody was expecting him to have the type of game that he had. And he didn't just steal the show. He took off with the show and just kept it up. And also, that was playing within his game. He didn't get the ball and just every single time shoot or anything like that. He didn't back down on defense. He had standout, plays, highlights on both ends of the floor. So I think it was just the shocking factor of, hey, this is a guy we don't know much about, but he's the one that we're talking about, in one game. That it's like, oh, this is something that you could continue to see. That's why I think it stands out.
This trio of draft picks, I'm just going to henceforth refer to them as the Booth Boys. Like, all of the Booth Boys were good.
All the Booth Boys are good.
Can you believe it?
How many Booth Boys can there be? Because now there are 5.
There's 5 Booth Boys.
I'm sort of including Collin Gillespie.
Yeah, he wasn't good. We'll get to him.
He was not good. But this trio of draft picks look like they are ready at least to compete. They are prepared for this next ascension here.
Well, let's stick to Hunter Tyson, though, for a little bit here. So let's talk about his skill set. So to me, the motor is the thing that pops first. The second thing that pops to me is probably the shot looks smooth. Like, the shot just looks good. There were a bunch of had like a sitting baseline, had a good line on a lot of them, and it was like as soon as he goes up to it, you're like, that's good. That's definitely in. And he knows how to get open off ball. Like, he knows how to move off ball. That's the thing that, to me, popped in the film when I went to watch film of him. As I was like, he knows how to cut. He knows how to move. He knows how to do the little fakes to get open, sidestep, this or that. but we saw all of it in this game. We saw all of the little moves. He even had an ISO. Do you guys remember he had a little ISO, got to his spot, pull-up jumper, and it was pure?
That
nuts
was
but net.
crazy.
Like, this guy is – I comped him in the little I watched him because he was of the three the least I scouted.
Listen, man.
I comped him to Mike Miller. And I actually I mean, his game is different than that, but I do see a little Mike Miller to him where Mike Miller had a lot of those little micro fakes, little micro side steps to get open and stuff, and then his shot was so fluid.
In him I see Larry Bird, I see J.J. Redick.
Just think of all the good white players in NBA history.
I see a little white chocolate in there. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
I mean, he has a white guy's game. What am I supposed to say?
He does have a white guy's game.
He kind of has a Mikal Bridges game, dude. He's like
Hunter
incredible.
Tyson will quickly become a absolute fan favorite in Denver.
You think?
Yeah.
But I mean,
he gets the Christian Brown bump.
He gets the Christian Brown bump.
Yeah.
But honestly, the skill set. So we talked about the work, but Dev, what parts of the skill set popped?
I think just the maturity. I think that was the biggest thing out there. He looked like he knew what to do on the court.
Yep.
He knew where to be. It was as if he was like the second year type of player. This wasn't a debut where, the lights were too bright or anything for him. He knew where to run his offense, how to get open, what he wanted to get to. You talk about that ISO situation. Anyone else, they're going to just try to do everything that they could to get to the rim or to get to their spot. He was just poised, under control, got to the shot that he wanted. And that's while we're running the offense. So I think that it's just like he's really poised. I feel like the maturity stands out.
That's exactly it. Like, his shot was confident.
Yeah.
I mean, it really comes down to confidence. It just looked
He
like
has
he was
confidence.
But it's not like it later through success manifested as swag. But it started as just like, we're ready. I'm ready for this. This man was ready for this.
If he kind of came out and yelled that,
we're ready.
could you imagine?
And then they lose.
Yeah.
Who cares about that?
I mean, for me, I remember this is something Cal said after the draft, but he was like, we don't want overlapping skill sets on this roster. Like, I don't just want to take 3 more defensive guys. We need every skill set on this roster.
Listen, I haven't really been here to discuss any part of the draft. I missed it. I missed the aftermath. I love that Calvin Booth doesn't have just one type of guy.
Yes.
I was so relieved to see that he's not just like, well, defense wins. We're getting defense. Like, these guys that he got are so varied from a skill set standpoint and from a fit on the team standpoint. Nobody is more confident in Calvin Booth's ability to, scout talent and draft than Calvin Booth.
And his staff. I mean, they all give him enormous props for that.
I'm a believer, man. I have loved the Denver. Why I am here, and why I've devoted my life to the Denver Nuggets is because I loved the way that they put the team together. They drafted well every year. That was Tim Connolly's calling card. I was so crestfallen when he left because I was like, oh my God, we're losing this guy that has vision that can pick players out and put together a team. And Calvin Booth in his first 2 drafts, I mean, we're not. The paint isn't totally dry, obviously, but
I think it's barely up. I think the paint is
but we have last year.
We haven't even put a second coat.
We have last year.
I mean, to me, I say he's 1 for 1. Well, Peyton Watson, we'll get to him. But to me, he's very much still a TBD. And all these guys are TBDs, right? It's one summer league game. But for me, I just look at it and I go, Calvin's 1 for 1.
Yeah. Well, what I was saying about Hunter Tyson, not having all this overlap on the roster is he's totally different from every other Nuggets player.
Yeah.
There's not a guy on the Nuggets that's like him. Because, I mean, he just does everything. He can shoot it. He plays hard. He had 2,
he's going to be terrible
offensive rebounds.
Just the worst
he had
player
2
we've ever
offensive
seen.
rebounds last night. One of them I remember as being wow, he just got that board.
I'm saying, man.
And he's a 3. He's a small forward, and that's a position where Denver's kind of thin right now.
Although he played 5 last night for a stint.
And they went to the death lineup last night, and it didn't work.
It killed them.
It didn't work.
They were killed by their own death lineup.
Big negative. But you can totally see how he kind of fills in or can fill in some of the gaps on this roster with how it's constructed. He does some things that other guys don't do.
A big thing that stands out, that was on my first time seeing him in person, he has the size. He actually has size.
Actually, have you sized him up?
You know what? 6'7". He's taller than me.
With a ratchet?
He's listed at 6'8", I believe.
6'7" with a ratchet?
Oh, he's listed at 6'8"? I think he's 6'7". He might be 6'8".
He's tall, though.
But yeah, that stood out on the court, and that's a big thing when you talk about him being a wing. They don't really have that depth, behind Michael Porter Jr. at the wing. You get a 6'7", 6'8" guy there that actually has the size. That's why you can put him at 5. That's why you can put him at 4. And you said that they don't have anybody else on the team like that. I think that there's one player, Vlatko is the closest thing that I would say, even though it's just a little bit different, but it's just like the versatility. You have size, you have skill, you have the motor to be able to do it on both ends of the floor, and that's another guy that you want to use. Vlatko is a guy that everybody loves. Everybody wants him to play a little bit more. Now they have a younger guy that can do it, and he's showing that he can
Vlatko's
score.
out again.
So it's just another piece that you add, and it was a great debut that he checked off every single box.
And a lot of this it's stuff that you really can picture him doing at the next level. I'm going to say this. One of the cool things for me about being at Summer League is we get to sit basically courtside as media. I mean, when you're in Cox Pavilion, everybody's courtside so tiny. Well, sharing an anecdote here is the credential of the two of us here. You're sitting right there on the baseline, and I always say the game looks different when you cover it from there because these guys are so fast and so strong and everything else, but also because you really have to be tough. It really shines how much toughness is a trait that all players have to have, and there's varying levels of it. I mean, I know we're going to talk about Wemby later and maybe lacking that. But when you're up there, there's one guy we'll get to in a little bit that was even, I think, even more of a maniac in the toughness department. But
who do you guys think that is?
We'll get to it.
I would say.
But Hunter, one of the things that just stood out to me was how well Hunter handled all the little physicality. Guys just trying to push all this and that, and he would just elbow him off and get to a spot. And I was like, man, this guy, he can hang. He can handle
it.
So
part of that is he's 23 years old. He played 5 years at Clemson. 5 years high-level basketball. I mean, if anybody is ready for an environment like this, it's going to be a guy like him.
So we're in. We like Hunter.
That dog can hunt.
He did say, so somebody put in the chat, in the chat said that his nickname, he's Hunter Tyson.
No way, dude. Hunter Tyson too rich. We can't. Gary Harris, there's nothing to be built off of. Hunter Tyson, he's either the reverse. He's White Thunder.
He did finally land on Hunt and Tice, which is also not really. They're diminutives.
Or he's Hunter, literally Larry
Bird.
Oh
yeah, that's what it is. The Monroe. Oh crap! How did we forget it?
Something from Monroe, I think.
Oh,
like Monroe,
are you
Louisiana.
Yeah. Like the hick from French Lick.
Yeah.
Yes. Larry Bird. We got Larry Bird again.
Hold on, Monroe, Louisiana.
All right. Yeah. No.
Larry Birds
North
on one
Carolina.
team.
I'm gonna Katie when she was there. I'm gonna
The
text
bro
her.
from
He's from Tobacco Road.
The
bro from Monroe.
Is he?
No.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's take a break. We'll move on. On the other side, we want to talk about Peyton Watson and Jalen Pickett, two guys that I thought were also sort of in the positive category for me personally, although both of them had mixed reviews, I would say.
Guys, Shady Rays, Eric Weedham was just wearing
I'm wearing right now. Look at me. I've never looked better. Actually,
Shady Rays, man.
My apologies to Shady Rays that there's not a better model.
Shout out to Shady Rays. They hooked us up with sunglasses for this trip. We need them out here in Vegas, of course, and it's the summer, so you guys need them too. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Shady Rays, they've got you covered for the warm weather, not just ahead, but that's here right now in Denver, in Vegas, wherever you're watching this from.
I wore Shady Rays all over Montenegro. I was complimented left, right. Everyone was like, what are these shades? I was like, listen.
I wore some Shady Rays all over Fremont Street.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. That's right.
People said you look handsome. Everybody kept on saying
funny when you walk out of the casino on Fremont Street and just the lights are so bright in that little tunnel area.
Gotta wear shades, baby.
It just could be the middle of the day. And you're like, I need my Shady Rays right now. Go to shadyrays.com. Use the code DNVR for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by 250,000 people. If you want to shop in-store, you can check out their entire collection at their brand new location in Park Meadows Mall, a full-stop shop for all things Shady Rays.
And also, again, I just want to impress this upon everyone. You'll look better in these than I do because you don't have my stupid face.
Yeah, that's so true.
So don't judge Shady Rays based off this alone. Other people wear them, they look great.
ShadyRays.com, use the code DNVR, 50% off 2 pairs of polarized sunglasses.
We're at Victory Burger inside Circa. Cedric is asking. We're at Victory Burger.
Yeah, dude.
Right by the sports book.
Yeah. We are right by the sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino. I'd never been to Circa before.
You haven't?
It's a new resort. It's a new casino.
Yeah.
I love this place,
It's
man.
amazing.
I am blown away because, like you were talking about earlier, you think of Fremont Street. It's a little older. It's not as nice as the Strip. When you're at Circa, it feels like you're at a luxury hotel. I mean,
Yes,
you are at a luxury hotel.
You're literally at a luxury hotel.
That is just as nice as those hotels on the Strip. The room we've got at Circa, I mean, it's nicer than any room I've stayed in at the Strip, and I've stayed in like all the nice hotels there. Their sportsbook, as you guys can see, is incredible. It's 3-story stadium style. There's a 78 million pixel screen there behind us. We have had food from Victory Burger, which is right there, right where we're doing the show. Their burgers are incredible. You can download the Circa Sports app as well. But the casino is awesome too. 70,000 square foot casino with 2 levels. Over 1,300 slots, 48 table games with dancing dealers.
What?
Brendan Vogt. They got the stadium
like
swim as
him.
well, which I'm sure you guys have seen on social media. We're doing the show there from there this weekend as well. It's an awesome resort. So if you're heading out to Vegas, if you're going for maybe Broncos Raiders, Avs Golden Knights, the Pac-12 tournament, book your stay here at Circa Las Vegas. Code DNVR20 for 20% off. DNVR20 for 20% off. Also, make sure to download the app, circasports.com. Circa sports bets can only be made while physically located in the state of Colorado. Must be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circa Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. Gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org. But again, if you're wanting to come to Vegas, dude, stay at Circa. Trust me. You guys will not regret it.
Man, the rooms are so nice.
The rooms are awesome. The hotel's great. Tons of food options.
You guys don't know. Honest to God, I'm ready to declare a superlative. Best shower I've ever had.
Great showers.
The shower was incredible.
That shower pressure?
I sat down. The pressure was insane. I sat down.
They had a little bench.
They do have a bench in the shower.
I'm not kidding. It's the best shower. I was in the shower for a half hour today.
No, and like the room is quite spacious. I've spread my clothes all over it.
I'm sure. DNVR 20% off your stay at Circa. That's a great discount.
There you
guys go. I'm hungover.
Yeah. Yep.
Hanging by a thread over here, but pushing through. It's like a flu game for me over here.
It's like emphasis on hanging.
Guys, let's get to Peyton Watson. He's the big name. But first of all, one more thing on Hunter Tyson. Peyton Watson has twice now referred to Hunter as my guy. He's like, I love that guy. That's my guy. And, he says good things about all the players, but it is interesting to me that he keeps isolating Hunter as his guy. So take that for whatever you will. But Peyton Watson, I thought, had the widest gap between hot and cold yesterday. And I think overall it was impressive because in Summer League you want the consistency or whatever. It's not going to happen. The games are a little weird. There were some pops of the first play of the game, first one play. He gets 2 block shots, then goes on a fast break dunk the other direction. 2 block shots, and they were block shots. One, I think were they both at the perimeter? Like he blocks perimeter jumpers more than anybody I've seen. So plays like that to me stood out, and then the pick and roll, he had some scoring plays. He attacked the basket like really, really aggressively. Those are the things that stood out to me. What about you, Deb?
Man, that first half, I was all in on Peyton Watson. I was like, this guy is for real because he came out with a purpose, with a mission. Super aggressive. He went to the free throw line. He had 13 free throws because he was so aggressive.
Jeez.
They made sure to put the ball in his hands, and he operated.
That's crazy. 13 free throws?
He was the guy going into Summer League, so you knew that, this was a big one for him. And in that first half, he looked like exactly what you wanted, exactly what you expected, which I think is a positive sign because he's not going to play a whole bunch. You just need him in those spurts. So that is something that he's going to work on. But I also think that it came with a lot of pressure of, I have to keep this up for the entirety of the game, and that's when we saw the dip go. So this was a game of highs and low lows. But all in all, I think that this was a promising game from P-Watt, and I think that this is something that you don't hang your head on. You're like, hey, I'll just do better, going into the next game.
Oh, we gave him the only red basketball on the heat index. Like,
just gotta say, there was a lot of hair raising about that graphic on social media.
Yeah, like the Grant Golden erasure. People very upset about Grant
a
Golden.
a lot of pissed off people about that graphic.
Awesome. Hey, listen, we're stirring the pot of conversation. Either guy pops or he doesn't. I don't know. You can look at the stat sheet if you want. Anyway, P-Watt came out the guy. Exactly what we all expected. He is the guy. He is the most senior tenured Nugget and was coming in as the one guy that has been around the squad that outside of Collin Gillespie but has been playing and was expected to step up and be like the spiritual leader, at least like the energy holder, and he absolutely was. And like you said, he came out and did things that we saw him do at the NBA level last year, saw him replicate and build off of it. But then, I mean, the second half of this game was, if we're like, really a lot of people kind of, it got very strange, and people were playing like in ways that they normally wouldn't, and it seemed like Peyton especially kind of was exploring his game a little bit, like pushing it and like being an ISO player that doing stuff that he would never be asked to do at the NBA level, and so it like did not look good, but he looked great in the first half. Overall, I was very, very in on P-Watt.
Yeah. He did a lot of little things. Like, remember when we were talking about how Christian Braun does things and gets deflections, gets steals, gets blocks, and that's a huge reason why he's just like a difference maker. Peyton Watson does a lot of that same stuff. 3 steals, 3 blocks in game 1.
Unbelievable.
6 stocks, which, if you guys remember, I predicted he would get. That's what he does, man. He makes stuff happen on the defensive end of the floor. He's so long. He can get in passing lanes. He's just a disruptor. And the aggression on offense, like Dev mentioned, how often he looked to get to the rim. He tried to put Taco Fall on like 3 different posters. He was trying to dunk on Taco Fall. Now, I don't think he got that close to dunking on him, but he tried to. He wanted to put him on a poster, and I love that. Like, I love that aggression from him. He got to the line 13 times. He drew a ton of fouls, also committed a lot of fouls. But just
active overall.
The aggressive mentality that he played with was my biggest takeaway on offense and defense.
You talked about, getting a lot of fouls in that game. I think the big thing for me, I'm glad that they started out with the Bucks because he got to go against Marjon Beauchamp, who looked really good. This is another guy that has been in the league for 2 years as well. So it was like a barometer game where you get to see, where you match up against another guy that's, under control. And I like that Peyton Watson was like, I'm guarding him from the opening tip. They went after each other the entire time. Also, Taco Fall is down there, and he just makes everything, tough because he's just so big. Like, it's really a circus act.
Dude, that's the biggest guy I've ever seen.
And he was, altering shots at the rim. That is something that he does do well. He might lack in the other departments, but Peyton Watson made it a point to, like, I'm going to go after him. I'm going to go after Marjon Beauchamp the entire time. And also, I'm going to be the guy for the Nuggets while everyone else is still, trying to operate and get themselves going. So I do think that it was kind of jittery, type of game for Peyton. But also, I really did like what I seen from him. Yeah.
Do you feel that he won that matchup? Because those two guys are like the same build, are very similar builds and similar molds, I would say, of players.
No, he didn't win. Either. He did not win the matchup.
Yeah.
But that's not what I was looking for. I wasn't looking for him to just, straight up win the matchup.
Right.
I wanted to see how he fared against a guy.
Was it a real matchup?
Yeah, it was a matchup.
But what I mean by that is more like who looked better, because those two players are comparable. They were picked around the same time, and they're in their going into their second season, so they're comparable. And I'm with you, like, Peyton in the first half, I thought definitely outplayed him. In the second half, he definitely got outplayed, got taken too. Yeah. But nonetheless, I think the big takeaway for me with Peyton is you just look at the box score. It's always about do you do stuff. 23 points is a lot of points for a guy who's, is he a scorer? I don't know. 3 steals, 3 blocks, so you're getting it done both ways. That's big. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 13 free throws, 6 of 12 shooting. Like, the entire box sheet looks good for him.
Yeah.
So, up and down, there's some things I do hope to see from him. I'll tell you, one of the big negatives for me is I thought he took a few possessions that weren't his.
Terrible.
And took bad shots out of them.
Didn't pass the ball to a wide open Hunter Tyson.
Man, that was a real bad one. Took a 3 on a transition when Hunter Tyson was clearly the right play. And, I still don't know what Peyton Watson is. And this is why one of the big reasons where I'm like, I'm just going to pump the brakes before I say that I believe or this or that, because I just don't know. It's not that I don't believe. It's just that I don't know what kind of player he is. And in my mind, he's a guy that is a good secondary passer in this or that, and good passers don't miss that pass. So that was one to me where I'm just kind of like, I think you're more of that, and I think you're probably a little less of the first play, the first half-court possession of the game. He took like a sidestep, pull-up, mid-range jumper, and I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, overall, I think I was a little disappointed in P-Watt. Overall.
I can understand that thinking.
Because
the lows were very low.
expected him to be a little more refined, I would say.
Right.
Coming back to Summer League, second-year player. His handle still seems like it needs a lot of work. Like, it's just loose. He just lost the ball a couple of times. The jumper, I'm still very unsure on.
Yeah.
I mean, he hit a 3. He went 1 of 3, but I'm just unsure of where the jump shot is at right now. Defensively, I mean, he has some super high moments.
Yeah.
Defensively, there are possessions when you're like, this is an all-NBA guy.
Yep.
But then there are also possessions where he just gets blown by.
Beauchamp like ISO'd him like 2 times and just got to the
right
rim,
by
and
him.
you're like, man.
So I love the building blocks that P-Watt has. I love the skill set. I think yesterday was a good starting point for Summer League, and now it's about, okay, can he improve on some of these areas we're talking about? Overall, I think I'm still there. I think he looked good enough yesterday to be a rotation guy next year.
Yeah.
Like, I watched him yesterday, and I was thinking, okay, he looks like a rotation guy.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like he's there. I think he can still just play so much better, though.
Yeah.
I think he can really play better than he did yesterday, though.
I think that he could play better, but also I think I would not judge him off of the first game. I think the second game is the one I would go with because while Summer League is really for rookies, I think the highest expectations you have is those second-year guys or guys that have played in the league because you're like, well, what has he worked on? Or he's been with the team. Even though he's not playing a lot, you just expect more, which I don't know where that expectation comes from because he's not really playing much. He's not, in the G League
he's
doing
around,
those type of
he's
things.
around
He's just
guys,
around. But how much are you going to learn from that? Also, I think that you've seen it with Peyton Watson. He wants to take every single shot. He's not making the same reads that we've seen him make last year when he's trying to, because I feel like he's trying to prove himself so much that you see the ball.
He was very
go out.
aggressive,
He's super aggressive, and then you're forcing shots that you typically wouldn't. If he played within the offense, we'd see those passes.
Yeah.
We'd see him, maybe hang his, head on defense a little bit more. Everything else, I think that the expectations is like, hey, I was with the team last year. I'm looking for rotation spots. If I really do take every single shot and score 25 times like AAU style, then they're going to say, hey, P-Watt did great. But that's not what the Nuggets need.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that he has to grow or he will grow. So that's why I'm waiting for the second game.
But, for me, I know in this role he's never going to do what the Nuggets need him to do. The Summer League is just not in any way close to how the Nuggets are actually constructed. So he's going to be exploring his game. He's going to be put in a position where the guys are looking to him. But so what I look at, I'm like, bro, that guy on defense, undeniable, indisputable. On offense, he can be energetic, he can finish, he can do things that I know. He's already shown me that he can do what he will be, what will be asked of him by the Nuggets. So I'm in, man. I see it with P-Watt.
So you're in.
I'm in too, actually.
I see it with P-Watt, absolutely. I saw the leap. Obviously, there's so much room to grow, but just the simple fact that a leap has been made says that there's upward mobility with this guy. Will he reach the ultimate ceiling? I don't know, but I'm officially in on the P-Watt journey.
I'm in on the journey, but I don't know if I'm in yet that I'm buying it. To me, I'm still TBD. Yesterday did not change my TBD status.
I think I'm with Eric. I think I saw the leap. I've seen the leap from last year to this year. And, Peyton Watson can be an incredible basketball player.
Yeah.
Peyton Watson can be an absolute game changer, I think, on both ends of the floor. He has the tools. He has the body. I think he has the mindset. And I think, maybe people think we might be a little harsh on him right now, but, that's because we think he can be special.
Yeah.
I actually think he can be a special basketball player, and I think he can be way more than just a defensive specialist,
and nobody believes in this guy more than Calvin Booth, who wanted to trade up to get him when we were this guy drafted a guy that has a scoring average of 2 points, the lowest scoring average ever drafted in the first round, Peyton Watson. But you see him now, and you're like, oh, yeah, man, that guy's a basketball player.
Yeah, he's a baller.
Those two plays though that he missed at the rim, those were bad.
I honestly, you're not wrong. Like,
and I'll say this because it's kind of meaningful. Hunter Tyson plays with that maniac energy.
Yeah.
And Peyton plays with it sometimes.
Yeah.
And there were a handful of times, those two were the loudest, but there were other plays where you're kind of like, something happened and he kind of just jogged back or something, and you're kind of like,
yeah,
man, this is where you're making a name for yourself. And those two plays in particular, he gets blocked, okay, it happens. And then to go up as soft as he did the second time and get blocked again by a guy who was making the extra effort, it's like, man, you just got outworked.
That was all-time low. Getting
was a real
blocked
low.
at the rim 2 times, that was like the worst thing I've ever seen.
That was pretty embarrassing. But also, what it shows is that P.Y. just rides the wave. Like, things were going bad for him right there. Things were going bad for him right there, and it continued to go bad. But when it's high and he's on that, he rides the wave to the high. So now he just has to find his point, and the things that is going to get him to playing. Okay. I wouldn't have cared if P.Y. didn't score a lot in Summer League as long as he guarded Vogt, to the highest caliber, because that's what's going to put him on the court for the Nuggets is being a defender. So that's what you need to work on. That's what you need to showcase in Summer League. So this next game, he could have 5 points and I wouldn't care as long as his guy is he's making it hell for him the entire time. That's the only thing I was mad at. I don't feel like Beauchamp was in hell at all. So where does that come from?
Which, by the way, we've not patted ourselves on the back for this at all. We all liked Beauchamp coming out of last year's draft. He looked awesome.
Yeah, he was. He looks like him and Peyton are the kind of this very, very, very similar. I think.
But Beauchamp is more refined than he had. Like, he was much more confident and he was in control the whole time.
He got blocked at the rim, decided not to get back on defense. Then he got
you're talking about Peyton?
Cherry pick
score. He's being lazy.
No.
The guy who's working.
Let's not talk about this.
His ass off goes and blocks it again.
It was a bad play. It was a bad moment. All right, we got to take a break because we got to keep it moving. On the other side, my guy Jalen Pickett.
Volo Sports is the largest social sports company in the entire United States. We've already played in a lot of Volo Sports leagues here at DNVR. They've got leagues all over the city. Lodo, Rhino, Uptown, City Park, the Highlands, Sloan's Lake, Cherry Creek, DU, Englewood, Arvada, Aurora, Northfield. Wherever you're located at in Denver, around Colorado, I'm sure there's a Volo Sports league that you can get in. Summer registration for Volo Sports closes July 13th. So you got a couple more days to get in for the summer session. Sign up before it's too late. You can also get a Volo Pass and start playing in leagues. Bounce around to whatever league you want. As a free agent today, make sure to use code DNVR for $10 off. www.volosports.com/Denver. Volosports.com/Denver. Again, with the Volo Pass monthly membership program that gives unlimited access to sports, events, and social activities every single night. Unlimited pickups and drop-ins and tournaments. Again, $20 a month. We can get $10 off at volosports.com/Denver. Also, AG1.
Oh, God
AG1.
Why did I not bring my AG1?
I feel like that's why we were a little off for a game.
Oh, my God. Think about it.
No AG1. We had it in Serbia.
Yeah, we did.
Dude, the best advertisement for AG1 is how terrible we are today. None of us took it. This is what it looks like if you don't take AG1. This mess.
Yes. AG1, have it in the morning. 1 cup of AG1 in a glass of water every single day. It starts your day and your morning off great. AG1, no matter what diet, no matter what health plan you're on, it fits with that.
What diet or health plan would you say we're on this weekend so far?
I don't know, but it fits with AG1.
Let's go.
It's good with that. AG1. If a comprehensive solution is what you need for your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. That's what we had in Serbia, the travel packs.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have to lug around a huge carafe of AG1.
An urn.
A thermos, whatever you call it. Yeah. Get the travel packs. You're good to go with that. Go to drinkag1.com/nuggets. drinkag1.com/nuggets. Check it out.
Alrighty, back here, segment 3, and now we're going to talk about Jalen Pickett, my guy.
Oh!
So here's
My guy.
I think some interesting stuff from him in this game. I don't know that it was a great one. This isn't one that I would take away and say he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I actually comp it to me. I comp it to.
Oh, you comp it to
comp
you?
it to you?
No. I comp it to Christian Braun last year, where I think, just based on the replies I was getting and some of the mentions I was getting on social media, I think people were down on how he played. I actually thought he played really well and had some moments, did some things that I was like, that's super high-level stuff, passes he made that were, you're just like, holy shit, man, that's great vision, great delivery, all those different things. Created separation, hit a 3 off of the bounce, created separation from guys to get his shot off, like he had the mid-range jumper. And then you saw a little bit of the bully ball. I don't think
you mean booty ball.
Booty ball, bully ball, whatever you want to say. So I thought he did some things that were really good. And then like Peyton Watson, the entire stat sheet, right? 12 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 of 4 from 3. So there was a little bit of everything there. Win, what did you see from Pickett?
I get it. I mean, I get Jalen Pickett now after watching him live. And
some of the passes were like, even not even assists. He had a couple that guys missed that were like phenomenal.
And my God, is he a hilarious player. I can't get him.
That's why I love him.
Jalen Pickett is hilarious.
Yeah,
man.
that might be the slowest player I've ever seen.
I mean, everything from about the way he runs. We were talking about this during the game. He runs like LeBron.
He looks like LeBron because he's bow-legged. I mean, he's a tiny LeBron, but he's like kind of bow-legged and just stocky.
He dribbles like up to his shoulder with his hand like on top of the ball. He's never going to get called for a carrying violation. Off ball, he's like elbowing guys and like shoving Taco Fall in the back.
Bro, he just like hit Taco Fall. Taco Fall was just walking up the court, and he just hits him like this, man. Like the guy just nonstop is hitting people.
Yeah. He is, like I said, a hilarious player. But watching him live, I get it, man. He had some like Jokic level reads and Jokic level passes where he's manipulating the defense and forcing guys to rotate and then passing to the corner, hitting like a wide open shooter. I get the vision. I get the IQ. Like you can totally see that.
The funniest play, by the way, is one of the early pick and rolls, and he gets like a 5-footer out of it, like a little floater, because it looks like he's trapped. And this is what happens to him all the time.
Nash.
Yeah, like he looks like he's trapped, and he kind of just pivots around. All of a sudden, it's a wide open layup, and you're like, what?
He's ridiculous, man. I'm kind of getting there. Obviously, I'll probably never be as high on him as you are, but I'm getting there where I just like see why this guy is such a hooper and just such a unique basketball player. He's hilarious to watch.
Yeah,
he really is.
Yeah. My first half impressions of him were not great. I have to say, like, to start off, like that is the slowest basketball player I've ever seen. Methodical. Watching it, I was like, I can't believe Adam is the guy that's in on this. Adam was so beside himself because Jamal Murray would bring the ball up too slowly. This is the slowest basketball player I've ever seen. He was getting the ball taken from him constantly. He wasn't able to bully anybody. Like
we thought he played bad
in the first half. Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
Dude, there are some great booty ball possessions.
In the second half. In the first
half, I think he had all his points in the first.
I saw the vision. I saw him like make some headway in the paint, but then get stopped, and he couldn't do anything. But then he would rise and not make a typical pass, but like 1 or 2 over, more high level Jokic stuff.
Yeah.
I saw him take a lot of like unorthodox, normally what you would call bad shots, but I can tell he has the Jokic like finishing where it's not bad for him because he can make them. I saw the shot from behind 3, which is
he's got a great looking jumper.
Has a great looking jumper. The step back jump. I was just like, in the end, I was like, okay, I definitely see the vision. I am concerned about the strength. And I am concerned about his ability to manipulate NBA defenses in the booty ball way. But I do know that he has vision and he has skill, and so I'm on board, but I'm not on the Adam level.
I don't know how to feel about him because there was a lot of lows. But I think it could have dealt like who I was around watching the game. I think that my expectations were so high going into the game that it was just like, I think I was waiting for bad things to happen, and then they happened, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way that lands in the NBA with NBA players. There's no way that lands.
Because we don't know.
The shots that he made, those are not good shots. And then he made a couple.
Really?
He made a couple of them. I'm like, okay, maybe that's just his shots.
Yeah.
Like, he's supposed to make those type of shots because he's, like, getting fouled or, like, he's just forcing them with a guy in his, in his face, and he's getting them up over him. But also, he was going against, Nick Mannion, who was
Nico Mannion.
Nico Mannion, who's smaller than him. There's not going to be a lot of guards that are smaller than him. He also was trying to back him down from half court. I've not seen that before from a point guard. And they were, like, actually poking it out. That was turning into transition, buckets the other way. And then also I think that it just kind of messed up the offense, but he's such an incredible passer that it worked to his advantage. Like, the play would break down, and he would find a guy that's booty butt naked open in the corner. And I'm like, how did he even find that guy? Or how did he
That
even
was
see
How did
he see them there? So, like, he has so many skills, but I think it's just so many weaknesses that I'm like,
We got to see TBD.
Game
2,
he's
let's go.
actually TBD because there was some highs, but there was a lot of lows. I did like his vision. I did like his jump shot, which, I think is going to be great. And also, he played great off the ball, but he was a lot smaller than I thought. So there was a lot of lows. I will say that. For me, there was a lot of lows.
I love this. Some of the stuff you guys are saying to me, this is why I like comping him to Yoke, because there's some of the stuff that you, like, when people say, like, oh, it looked really slow or this or that. This is what happens when you watch Yoke for the first time, and you're like, oh, he's too slow to that post move was good, but just that. And that's why I say that play where he kind of, like, pivoted out and then all of a sudden it's a wide open layup. That's just such classic him. That's how he does it. It's just very unconventional. It looks a little clunky, and then you go to the box, the box sheet at the end of the day, and you go, oh, he was actually 5 of 9 shooting. He had 5 assists. 3 steals, just 3 turnovers. So I do think that there are parts of it, that are going to, like, there's some things from this game that were like, okay, yeah, getting the ball stolen at half court doesn't happen very often to a point guard, and it happened in this game, so that's obviously a big low. But I actually walked away from this one going 2 things. I thought he did a lot of the stuff that I expect him to do, and he actually wasn't on ball as much as I expected him to be. And I wonder if as this goes on, he'll be on ball a little bit more.
They were featuring one guy, and then they wanted
Peyton.
Collin Gillespie to run the show, and they had Peyton off ball, which was like they'll never do that. This won't.
Well, they had Peyton on ball a lot, especially in the second half.
There was like there was your turn, your turn.
Right.
Yeah.
So, well, we got to keep it moving. Anyway, either way, I picked to me is a lot like I felt about Christian Brown last year, where I'm like, the stuff that matters was good, and there is some stuff that that didn't look so good, but I'm not as worried about it. Julian Strawther, I have a strong take about him. Now we're getting into some of the players who I think were not quite as good.
Destroyed by Nico Mannion.
He did get destroyed. He had 15 points on 4 of 11 shooting, including 3 of 9 from 3. Here's my take on Julian Strawther from Game 1, and it's the thing I'm most worried about. When he's shooting the ball, you're very noticeable, and every other time you almost forget he's out there. I mean, I thought about Julian Strawther, I think, 4 times last game. All 4 shots he made. And that was it.
Well, I think that's kind of an example of the type of player he's going to be. Very early in his career, at least. Like, he's a shooter, and that's going to be his role if he's playing with the Nuggets in year 1 or year 2. That's what he's going to be on the floor to do. And not much else. I mean, he looks like a specialist to me.
Yeah.
He looks like a specialist. That's a 3-point shooter. We did see the floater, I think, for one of his first baskets of the game. It looked great. It went in. But, yes, really the only thing he's doing on the court right now is shooting threes.
Yeah.
And, I mean, early in his career, that seems like what he's going to be.
Yeah, but he stayed shot ready every single time. That is one thing that you have to love about his game. When it comes to the floater, when they're going in, we're going to be excited. When they're missing, you're like, why would you shoot that? Like, he shot
That's every floater.
Really, when I watch him, it could be like how he actually like physically looks, but like everything about him is like LaMelo Ball in high school to me. I'm like, he's taking some wild shots that are super deep. He's floating it from like the free throw line. And when they go in, you're going to be like, oh, man, he's so talented. But it's going to be a lot of frustrating plays. It was a lot of MPJ-like plays, like the bad MPJ-type plays when he was out there. But then when he makes it, it erases all of that. I think that's the thing with him. So he is going to have to become a better defender where you're going to be able to stay on the court because you're doing all of the small things. But when you take shots, he's going to give you the gravity. He's going to give you the spacing. He's going to be able to just, shoot his way onto a court. And we got to see that. He made some shots that I'm like, oh, No doubt about it. I already knew that they were going in before he shot them. He's just shot ready. The mechanics are perfect. And he's just so confident.
Dude, he's got a beautiful shot. I mean, he is a beautiful shooter.
Beautiful hair.
The quick,
it's a beautiful soul.
I don't know that well.
You've not been scouting it like I have.
I haven't done as much background on him this year. Just the quick release, the range he's got on his jumper, the confidence he has to take it. He's a shooter.
Yeah, shoot.
He's a shooter in every sense of the word and every sense of the role in the NBA.
Yeah.
And then we got to keep it moving. I think the guy who I was most unimpressed with last night by a mile was Ishmael Kamagate. Yeah, I mean, to me, Collin Gillespie, I thought, had a bad game. It's like he's been off for so long. You kind of almost expect it. We'll get to him in a second.
We've seen him play good,
But to me, Ishmael Kamagate was frightening. Now, he was going up against
frightening.
Well, I mean, he was going up against Taco Fall, who's like a very abnormal player to be going up against, I don't want to have any strong takes about it. I don't want to just say like this
he's
guy's
a nightmare. I don't want nothing too strong.
He had 6 rebounds. I think he left about 10 rebounds on the board.
Yeah.
I mean, the rebounding to me was such a concern, and then offensively, it wasn't really anything like too loud. What do you take 2 shots? But that's it. Is to me, he seems sort of like a non-factor on offense on anything else, and on the boards where you expect, okay, that's one thing you can do, athletic, big, tall guy, and he just was missing. I wouldn't call him like 70-30 rebounds, like slightly contested, but you should get those, and he was missing them.
Yeah. This will definitely put to rest everybody who replies to me every single day on Twitter about why isn't Kamagate the backup center on the Nuggets.
Right.
I mean, now we know. He's not ready. He's not ready, and this is why the Nuggets are leaving him in Europe for next season. I mean, he doesn't have the strength yet, just doesn't have the toughness, the physicality yet, and I know that's something the Nuggets want to see more from him. They want him to be tougher. They want him to be meaner inside. Yeah. And so hopefully he can get more of that and show more of that here and next season in Italy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Kamagate, he looked outmatched. He just didn't, nothing flashed, and it flashed in the wrong direction more than it did in the good, where he would be put in a position to exhibit skill, and you're like, oh, that's not a very skilled player. You're like, then to exhibit toughness, you're like, he's not that tough of a guy. At the end, you're like, I guess he's tall. That's the toughness part. Is part of what I'm getting at here. Is some of the rebounds were like, hey man, you got to play like Hunter Tyson, man. That guy's flying all over, doing whatever he can. Kamagate to me was like,
yeah. I think that was really the only thing for me is that his motor last year was an issue for me. This year also was an issue for me. I think that with Taco Fall being so large, so big, I think that it was just. I think no one would have been able to do anything with. He's just standing in the paint the entire time, so they didn't want to force anything in there just because he alters so much. But then also everybody else, not that they were playing selfishly, but everybody else is forcing shots. Kamagate really did not get anything, so that's why it's important for you to go work hard when a shot goes up to be able to create your own. He only took 2 shots in the game, and he made one. He was a +2. Taco Fall was a -17.
Taco Fall's not good.
Yeah, but there was very, very
Kamagate was
bad.
a +2. Are we really talking about his game in the wrong way here?
That's what I love is that you'd be like, we watched the game.
We are big plus-minus guys.
Yeah, we watched the game. You're like, man.
But it wasn't horrible when he was out there is what I'm saying. Things weren't going bad because he was out there. He just was kind of working himself
that Hunter
into
Tyson
it.
bump, dude.
But he doesn't have the aggression to him where he's like, give me the ball or I'm going to go get it where you have to force it to me and things like that. He's just kind of out there.
But that's not his game. His game is Clint Capella if he's going to make it in the NBA. He's a Clint Capella type of center. He's not a post-up guy.
But Harrison, the thing is, he got out-talled by Taco Fall because he decided to play the tall game. When you have a guy that is
tall.
When you have a guy that is tall like that, you got to get physical. Okay, then we're going to make this rough and tumble. Your advantage is height. Then I'm going to have to be leverage, right? And he didn't. I just felt like he was trying to jump, and this stuff was like, no. You got to go out there and make them feel you in some way. Yoke's so good at this, by the way. When he goes up against Steven Adams, he's rolling off of him and doing floaters. When he goes up against who's the guy in Brooklyn, the skinny guy,
the kid in Brooklyn,
Nick Claxton.
When he goes up against Nick Claxton, he's going to go right through you. He knows when where's my advantage? I'm going here. Kamagate's got to learn that one. Let's take a break. Well, we're going to wrap up. Do we have one last break? One last break, and then we're going to wrap up with Collin Gillespie and Grant Golden. Some Grant Golden hype?
Bro, not Grant Golden hype. Grant Golden propaganda. Anger.
Let's go.
Guys, check out the Game Time app. Use code DNVR for $20 off the Game Time app. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Make sure to download the app. Create an account. Use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account with the Game Time app. Redeem code DNVR for $20 off. If you want tickets to concert shows, sporting events, check out the
Cedric,
Game
come up to Victory Burger. Come hang out. We're one more segment. We'll say hi.
Summer League tickets, Nuggets tickets, Rockies tickets, Denver concerts, shows, whatever you need. The Game Time app, they have you covered. Again, download the app, create an account on Game Time, use the code DNVR, get $20 off your first purchase. Tickets sent directly to your phone. Never have to dig through your email. You can buy your tickets in a matter of seconds with 2 taps. That's all it takes, D-Line, to buy your tickets on the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Make sure to check out Breckenridge Brewery as well.
Oh, come
the
on.
official beer of DNVR, and it's summer, so make sure you got the Mountain Beach Sour chilling in your fridge.
Dude, nothing sweeter than
So
a
you
Mountain
can
Beach
whip it
Sour,
out
you know
on a
what I mean?
moment's notice.
Oh, my God.
Check out all our favorites from Breck Brew, the Apple and Chamber, the Vanilla Porter Jr., the Juice Drop IPA, but it's the summer, so you've got to have the Mountain Beach Sour. Great for any occasion. Watching a Nuggets game,
It's literally
chilling at the park.
We've lost that.
Check out Breck Brew and the Mountain Beach Sour. Breck Brew, the official beer of DNVR.
Alrighty, back here, final segment here, and we're going to get to Collin Gillespie. He missed his shots. He looked a little rusty. I actually don't think he was as bad as most people. Again, the only guy to me that was like bad was Kamagate. But I thought Collin.
Not Armand Franklin.
and Funk. Actually, and Funk, I think, had a rough one. But, I mean, of the main guys. So, Collin Gillespie, 1 of 7. To me, a lot of this just came down to he missed shots that I think he makes usually.
Do you think he makes those usually?
You don't?
I don't know. I've never seen him make.
Well, his senior year in college, he was a bucket. That was his thing. Like
Off the dribble,
junior,
shooter.
sophomore year, not so much. So we got to see that. But also, this is a guy that's coming off of a real injury that set him for the entire year.
Yep.
He's also a two-way guy.
Yep.
So it's not because there was people like, hey, Pickett looks so much better, or other guards that got drafted. I'm like, yeah, but this is the two-way guy for them that's coming off of an injury.
By the way, he told us at practice earlier in this week, I don't know if this had been previously reported, but that he had a setback. That his injury wasn't supposed to take as long to rehab as it did, but he had a setback through the year. So I don't know if that was ever out
So he
there.
has a setback. He has an injury. He's already undersized. He's not that fast as is. And also, this is his first time, not playing competitively, but in a real game setting in, a year, 2 years?
Yeah, a year.
So, this was our – I think that he was supposed to have that rust.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I'm sure that he wished that more shots would have fell. But also, he's a guy that's playing off ball. He's playing point guard. He's trying to find his way while those other things are going. So this was our first look at him, and it felt like it.
And, Eric, one of my things is, if when a guy goes 1 of 7, I like to say, okay, if he would have gone 4 of 7, what does his game look like? So he had 3 points. Let's say instead 4 of 7, he probably has 9, 10 points. And he has 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. He kind of does a lot of stuff too.
My thing with him was it wasn't the missed shots. It was that he was driving the lane and losing the basketball. He was having point guard problems.
Yeah.
He wasn't controlling the offense at all, and he was
that part.
And that's all I care about. I don't care about
losing the ball part. I think is
it was bad, man.
Yeah, but I think that's probably a Russ thing. I don't because he's not known.
Listen,
for that.
I'm not planting my flag one side or the other. But I will say that Collin Gillespie is a guy coming out of Summer League last year that I was like, this guy's interesting. Steady call. He was not steady this game. He wasn't steady at all. He was very rusty. He was trying to force things. There were times when he was driving play. He was driving the lane and kicking out and doing point guard stuff. But there's a lot of times where I was like, man, he's just making mistakes. And that, specifically him, when I'm looking at that, I'm like, ooh, that's his calling card is being steady. So I was like, I came out like, oh, I don't, not because he was missing shots, you know?
Yeah. Do you have any Collin? Did we already go?
Yeah, I'm kind of cool on Collin. I'm not that high on him.
Okay.
I mean, he's small.
Yeah,
you look at him and Jalen Pickett next to each other. I mean, one guy has an NBA body, like one guy doesn't. Like Jalen Pickett has an NBA body as a rookie. Collin Gillespie, he's 6. I mean, how tall is he?
Probably 6 foot.
6 foot, 6'1". Is there no way he's that much taller than me? And he just doesn't really have the build. I would be very surprised if like Collin Gillespie is an NBA player. I just would be.
Let's just quickly go to Grant Golden here because we were running long here. But he had 6 points. He had 5 assists. He led the game in assists.
Yeah.
He was a -8, so it is funny. Kamagate +2, Grant Golden a -8. I know that you can't read too much in this just at summer
Armand
league.
Franklin +8.
+8. There you go. More minutes for him. But I just felt like I enjoyed the game more with Grant Golden out there just because I felt like more things were possible. That's my big takeaway.
Yeah, for sure, because he's making things happen the entire time. He led the game in assists, and he only played 14 minutes.
Right.
Yeah,
That's insane, especially as a big man. Also, if you just look at the Nuggets basketball, their big man likes to operate with passing. He likes to get others involved. So when you look at the two-way slots, maybe that's a guy that you can put in as a two-way slot because they have him. They have those options there, and he did things that were right. I bet you that he plays a lot more minutes in this next game.
I hope so.
Maybe so. Yeah, he got. This is the controversy of Summer League. We awarded him a yellow ball.
Really?
Yeah. That's why people were mad.
He went 3 for 3.
I thought he was great.
He was.
Well, you had every opportunity to weigh in on the graphic. I will tell you that.
I was doing interviews. You know how it is. I'm there.
Oh, you were doing.
I was doing interviews.
You were doing your job, not your job.
I didn't see the.
So you weren't doing your job. You were doing your job.
After I got out the interviews,
I see.
Then the ball was already given.
So for me, I didn't have strong feelings about him one way or the other. Like I don't even look at the box score for Summer League because I think it's ridiculous. And he just didn't pop to me in any way. No,
he had a couple of really.
I get it.
Good
passes, we can talk through.
He's a G League guy.
Yeah,
he's not an NBA player. I think the thing is, I don't think he's an NBA player.
I can be backfilled and I can look at like this. He did this and that, but like in Summer League, you pop or you don't pop, and that's all there is.
Yeah,
he didn't miss a shot. He didn't miss a
but
shot.
This doesn't matter.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. He didn't pop to me at all.
No, because he's not an NBA player. I think almost this is like we're saying the same things.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's the goal?
This just doesn't matter.
It just doesn't matter. But it was fun, and I do think that there is a world in which, and look, I think the Nuggets really like Grant Golden in their system because he is the closest you're going to get to Jokic. It allows you, and honestly, that's my big takeaway and why I said I liked when he was on the court. They were running the dribble handoff game.
Yeah.
The paint was open, and they were cutting lanes and things like that. So it's less even about what does he mean for the Nuggets as a player and more about just what did he do to allow the other guys to play a better game. So
I would not be surprised if Grant Golden walked out of Summer League with a two-way contract.
Could happen.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
Not because of what he could be for the Nuggets, but what he could be for the organization.
Yeah.
Did we head out? What's the worst color ball? Blue? Blue balls? Did we give any blue balls?
To
Yeah,
Vogt
we
last
did.
night.
You should never.
We gave blue balls to Collin Gillespie and Ishmael Kamagate.
I think it was fair. But you know what? If there was a color that was even worse than blue, there would have been one recipient yesterday at Thomas and Mack Center. And that would have been the number one overall pick, Victor Wembanyama.
Ice cubes.
Oh, man, Flo's really going to hate this show. Kamagate and Wembanyama both getting the bad grades here. Wembanyama's debut doesn't mean anything because we all know, like, he's a big prospect. It's a long-term play, all this, that. It went horribly. That was among the worst debuts from a top player that I have seen because I only caught the second half because we were running back and come back. He made every kind of bad play in the second half. Mm-hmm. He had an air ball.
Yep.
He bricked it off the backboard because he threw it too hard. So he was short on one, way too long on another, got the ball stolen from him, got dunked on. Like, he had everything happen to him where you're just like, dude, how do you keep finding new ways? That was wild. I don't even know if you need to have a take, but that was kind of wild to watch.
There's never been a bigger gap. This is the problem with hype.
Oh, it is.
That was the biggest hype expectation to hype letdown that I think I've ever experienced. That's the thing. It's like
you were so disappointed you walked out of the arena at halftime.
We left. We literally left. We were like, oh, this is not worth.
This is not worth. I love it that you were like bored from it.
We got in our seats early. The Nuggets were the first game or the second, and we were just like, well, we're staying here because we're going to see the debut of Wemby. This is going to be a historic moment.
This is going to be a seminal moment in NBA history.
I think it was a watershed moment, but the water being shed. I think this is going to be like we're going to look back and be like, oh, what? That was wild, dude. I cannot believe how badly that dude got punked. He wasn't that he just missed shot. That man got punked.
Yeah, he did get punked.
Yeah, the expectations were way, way, way too high for him, and I think that the moment was too big for him. It was actually
not like
embarrassing.
a huge moment, man. It's Thomas and Max.
No.
But the eyes were there. The eyes were on him.
It's the eyes are all on him. Everybody
He's
wanted
played
to
in
come
packed
and see him.
arenas many, many, many times.
Yeah, but not in the NBA. Not where you are the guy that everybody came to see, and he was not ready for that moment. Where he even said crazy things in the interview, of just like
he got in a fight with his coach.
I didn't know what I was doing out there.
He did?
Yes.
I wouldn't call it a fight.
All the same.
Argument
The first game of Summer League, and you're getting a visible verbal tete-a-tete with your coach.
Yeah,
that's
look,
bad.
I think that he's still going to be a good player, and we don't, want to put too much into it. But for that to be the debut,
You're out.
I'm out.
Everything that everybody like that the doubters said about him, he showed in that first game. It was
He's out.
I'm out, dude. I saw Chet last year. Smaller, similar build. Chet looks tough.
Chet is tough.
Chet is tough. Victor Wembanyama is the softest player I've seen play in the NBA. I swear to God.
This part is not hyperbole. That is the number one thing I would say about him yesterday. Is he just looked soft, man.
Yeah,
soft.
My take was Bol looked 20 times better in his summer league.
He played
debut.
with anger, like
maybe
dude,
New Phoenix
Victor
Sun
Wembanyama,
Bol.
Victor Wembanyama played yesterday like he was apologizing for being 6'7". He didn't play in the paint. He has no post-up game. None. Zero.
Yeah.
He does not protect the rim at all. He did no big man stuff at all. He looked like he just played like stretched out Will Barton. But he didn't make any shots.
Well, that's what's funny about it, and I will say, we can cue that outro music because we're going long and we got to get out of here. But I will say, that's the thing is, Victor Wembanyama in an empty gym is doing crossovers and sidesteps and all that stuff, and you're like, this is awesome. And then you watch him just Summer League, and you're like, he's never going to do that.
No.
Like, come on, man. It's hard to get
He's going to try to do it. It takes 5 seconds for the ball to leave his hand and hit the ground.
Yeah.
A lot of time for it to swat, man.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm not out on Victor, but I did think that it was a hilariously horrible debut for a player that has had more hype than just about anyone since LeBron. So it was kind of funny. Guys, we're enjoying ourselves in Vegas. Maybe a little bit too much. We made it. Hey, we made it through today. It's the Hangover Show.
Has anybody seen Brendan Vogt?
Oh, yeah, he left a long time ago.
I hope that he's not. I hope Brendan hasn't seen him. I hope he's not looked deep inside. I don't think he'll
Where
like what
is
he sees. I don't think he'll like what's looking back at him.
Guys, we got another day in Vegas here. We're going to go have some fun.
No, he did not protect the rim. Oh, so Blanco.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Did not.
No, he didn't.
I mean, he did, but he also got dunked on.
Well, maybe he did in the
He
second.
had 5 blocks.
Maybe he did in the second half, but I was the F out. I was
So it
done.
doesn't matter.
I was physically and mentally out on Victor Wembanyama.
He had 5 blocks.
All right, everybody, smash that like button for us on the way out. See you guys later.
I bet they were